The Insomniac Venom game is still on the way according to mpfirst.com. So we're going to go over all the new information as well as break down the entire plans for the Venom game, as there was so much cut content from Marvel Spider-Man 2 and even some DLC potential. Let's start off with the leaked details and release plans for Venom. Now, according to the leaked documents, the Venom game will follow a similar release structure to Miles Morales, featuring 2 editions. The leak covers show the game being called Spider-Man Venom, though Venom Lethal Protector seems like a more likely final title. The leaks show that the standard edition was priced at $49.99, while the Ultimate Edition would include Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5, again very similar to the Miles Morales game. The most interesting aspect of these leaks is the release window. Internal documents from August 2023 indicated a Q2 2025 release date. However, with the cancellation of Marvel Spider-Man 2's DLC content, a lot had changed behind the scenes at Insomniac. However, just last month on September 14, mpfirst.com published a report that stated that their sources confirmed that the Venom project remains in active development. The report states that while Wolverine is still on track for a 2026 release, Venom has been progressing alongside it. Since Wolverine remains a priority, it's likely that Venom is still in pre-production stages. The MP First report also reveals several story details from sources, though these should be taken with some caution. First being that Eddie Brock is the protagonist of this game, which rules out other potential symbiote users like Flash Thompson, who was Agent Venom in the comics, or an original character. Visually, the Eddie Brock will be closer to the comic book counterpart rather than the Tom Hardy's live action portrayal from the Venom films. Another story point is that Cletus Kasady will return as Carnage, serving as the main villain of the game based on internal slideshows from the Breach. The game will also feature anti-Venom, but not the version controlled by Peter Parker. Instead, we'll see a more monstrous looking version from the comics that Eddie Brock eventually uses. Like Peter Parker's struggle with Venom, Eddie can maintain total control over his persona with anti-Venom, could play a significant role in the story. Also, we have a little bit about Spider-Man 2099, as there are clues suggesting that Insomniac is working to include Miguel O'Hara in one of their projects, though it's more likely this relates to Spider-Man 3 rather than Venom. Now, because of the inclusion of anti-Venom, this may mean that Peter Parker will be included in the story, so that the potential of Eddie Brock taking anti-Venom from Peter Parker to then maybe becoming a sort of hybrid Venom, so that they can make Peter Parker, so that they can revert Peter Parker into the original Spider-Man without having his anti-Venom abilities. That's just my theory. However, I would really love Peter Parker to still have control over anti-Venom, but I love that symbiote moveset, and taking that away for Spider-Man 3 would only mean they would have to replace it with something better. From the leaks, we also got a very good breakdown of the game structure and content for the Venom game. Again, could have been drastically changed, as the cancellation of the Spider-Man 2 DLC seemingly affected a lot of these projects. From the Insomniac massive leak from 2023, originally the Venom game was designed to be an 8 to 10 hour standalone experience featuring a main quest, which was a golden path consisting of 12 missions with 3 event bosses, optional content like side quest challenges, bases, crimes and collectibles in the familiar Spider-Man game formula, playable characters with switchable Venom and Spidey heroes, and a setting featuring the Carnage-infected New York City boroughs. The game will also feature an all-new storyline that continues Spider-Man 2 and leads into Spider-Man 3. I did a huge breakdown of all the cut content, Knull's presence in the game, and much more in-depth into the leaks of the Venom game in my last Venom breakdown video, which I'll leave in the description and pinned comment section below, so go ahead and check that video out. But this time, because of this MP First report, it states that Carnage is going to be the main villain of this game. This likely means that Peter Parker and Yuri will be a part of this game too, as it was their story in the Spider-Man 2 base game that led to the creation of Carnage. Now, the Spider-Man 2 DLC was supposed to continue this quest and would have likely shown how Cletus Kasady actually becomes the symbiote Carnage, showing us that true transformation. And this would have likely teased the Venom game. However, due to the impact of the cancellation of Spider-Man 2 DLCs, it does seem that Insomniac behind the scenes have really reworked the Venom game, and stating from the leaks that the game was supposed to be 8 to 10 hours, it's likely now that it will be a 15 to 20 hour experience, maybe even longer. I did say in one of my previous Spider-Man 3 breakdown videos that Spider-Man 3 will have to address the anti-Venom aspect of Peter Parker, and that there will likely be a story involving anti-Venom. It seems like this is how they're going to do it. Actually going to do the anti-Venom story in the Venom game, which is so cool because I do want to see anti-Venom as a character, and it seems like we're going to be getting that. And also from the Insomniac leak, we know that the Venom game was supposed to have 3 playable characters. Obviously one is Venom. It's like that Peter Parker will also be one. Maybe this time we'll get to play as Yuri, or maybe anti-Venom himself will be a playable character. Who knows, maybe we'll even get to play as Carnage for one mission. The Venom game will likely cover Cletus Kasady becoming Carnage, and because he kind of had like a cult in Spider-Man 2, maybe that he will then try to summon Knull would really fit with his story arc and the way his character was in Spider-Man 2. This could then set up Knull for either Spider-Man 3, maybe a Spider-Man 3 DLC, maybe even a Venom sequel game. Because adding Carnage or Knull to Marvel Spider-Man 3 would contribute to an already stacked villain lineup. Carnage is a major antagonist who shouldn't be reduced to a side boss, especially when he's fully transformed. However, creative director Brian Intihar has said that Spider-Man 3 will be their endgame, suggesting tons of characters and villains will appear. And interestingly, leaked documents for Spider-Man 3 initially planned for a two-part structure where players would buy the base game with part 1, then buy another $50 for part 2 within a few months. It's highly unlikely they'll pursue this approach, and part 2 probably referred to a DLC expansion rather than splitting the base game story, as that will not go down well with fans. So it does seem, first of all, we are going to be getting the Wolverine game in fall 2026, then it's likely that in fall 2027 we'll then get the Venom game, which will be a standalone Venom game a lot bigger than originally planned, as it was originally intended to release in 2025, but now with the cancellation of Spider-Man 2 DLC, the reworking of the story, and with of course Wolverine already releasing in 2026, it's very likely that the game will come in 2027 and be a great 20 to 25 hour experience like a full-on Marvel game rather than a spin-off like Miles Morales. Go and check out my last Venom video, which I'll again leave in the description and comment section below, because we really went in depth with the leaked information about the original Venom plans and the different story arcs that were going to be covered and likely still will be covered: the Separation Anxiety arc, Life Foundation, cut content for Spider-Man 2 featuring Lasher, Riot, and a bunch of other symbiotes, and the fact that the late great Tony Todd only had 10% of his Venom voice lines used for Spider-Man 2, they'll likely use the rest of it for the Venom game. And guys, I wanted to announce the Witch Hunt collection, which is going to be the first collection that will be available on the Balboa Club store when it launches. This specific collection is inspired by the Witcher series and the dark fantasy genre. This is a brand that I've really wanted to make for a long time. I didn't just want to make merch, but I wanted to make something special, something that mixes the really cool designs of the wrestling world with the things that we love the most, video games. And of course, the first design had to be inspired by my favorite game of all time, The Witcher 3. So this is something special that I've created for you. I want you to join the club, and I will announce when the store is about to launch through this channel. Now we're even going to TikTok and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out, God bless, and join the Balboa Club today. Bye bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.